Well, I loved it.
Thank you. You're very colorful today.
Yeah, whoops. I forgot to bring a change of clothes, and my manager has my merch in her trunk, so I grabbed my own merch.
Oh, you're wearing your name.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know.
Nice.
You didn't bring your name tag, Al. What's up?
I'm so
How do we
sorry.
know it's you?
So sorry. I struck for the first time today. I was on the picket line today.
Struck.
Where?
I haven't heard that.
Paramount.
Okay.
I went with Tom Lennon. He's a friend of mine, and he lives like walking distance, so we just walked the line for a little bit.
Is that the one where you actually just walk in front of the entrance?
Yeah.
Where waiting for the light to change? I've seen that happening.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Because Weird Al is here.
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
So pumped.
Woo!
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Welcome. Here we go.
And I'm not Tony Hawk. Are you looking for a delicious and nutritious snack that packs a real protein punch? Crack into a good source of protein with tasty, healthy, wonderful pistachios.
Wonderful pistachios come in a variety of flavors and sizes. Perfect for enjoying with your family and friends or taking them with you on the go during your summer adventures.
Check out wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more about how these little green wonders can power up your day. I can't believe how young he looks.
Well, it's star by proxy of Weird, the Al Yankovic movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't him. But we just want to say that on top because I saw it. I loved it.
Thank
you. But we are here to talk about your illustrious career.
Right.
Which I feel very privileged that I'm of the age that I got to hear your stuff in the beginning.
You're old school.
Literally Dr. Demento.
From the very
Yeah.
sorry, from the early days.
Early days, yeah. Another One Rides the Bus. And, which I probably sang as a kid more than Another One Bites the Dust. For real.
I know I did.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And our paths have crossed a couple times. First in 1994 at the American Music Awards. You wouldn't remember it, but you were sitting at a table and I interrupted you and got a photo. Which exists. It's out there. You can see it.
Well, prior to that, I mean, you're going to mention...
And not, wait, was that...
Because the video...
I thought the video came after that.
No. Well, the video was definitely in 1992.
92. Oh, that's right. Okay. I have my timeline confused.
Okay.
He hit his head a lot.
What's that?
He hit your head a lot.
I feel like 90 to 96.
It's a blur.
It's all one year for me.
Yeah.
So you were right.
So
actually,
Smells Like Nirvana.
Smells Like Nirvana. Our team manager at the time, Tom Drake, who was very connected in the music industry, was tasked with getting extras for his video. And he called me and he's like, "Hey, you want to be in a Weird Al video?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So we went up to LA and I'm in the background of the Smells Like Nirvana.
Doing
video.
what? Just being...
Well, I was in the bleachers in that scene. It was a long shoot.
Yeah.
And I
went
stayed
way into the early morning
I stayed
hours.
until about midnight. But mostly I was just in the background. And then after the fact, I realized that a lot of people had left and you guys went till like 3 a.m. or something.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
And anyone that was left in those later hours were featured in the video.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like,
Because
make it
there's
look
no
like a
crowd.
crowd.
Yeah, so
Everybody
make it
get
look like a
together,
crowd. So
bunch up.
Tom, our team manager, is like front and center in one scene for sure. There's another guy that has glasses on. He's got like a collared shirt. People think that's me because he looks somewhat like me. So I'll take it.
If you
whatever.
freeze frame it, you can definitely pick you out in the crowd, though.
Yeah, you can. I was behind, what's his name?
Dick Van Patten?
Dick Van Patten. I was right behind him, which I was super excited to meet him.
Yeah. And that, which was, we cast him day of the shoot, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. It's like in music videos, like there's no money, there's no budget, there's a lot of times no planning. And it's sort of like, we need a celebrity. And we kind of went through our Rolodexes or whatever. And it's sort of like somebody on the crew knew Dick Van Patten. It's like, get Dick Van Patten. So like he showed up like an hour later.
That is the best behind the scenes story. I figured because it was perfect that he was the antithesis to the punk crowd.
Yeah, no, it wound up being perfect, actually.
It's perfect, yeah. And then he had a sandwich or something.
Yeah, and somebody goes,
yeah, so the sandwich hit me in the face, which was cool. I was down.
And he didn't sue me, and I appreciate that.
But I did feel bad because
Workers' comp.
I wanted to meet you, and obviously the shoot was super exhausting, and they were taking a break, and I went to go find you to say hello, and you were literally asleep on a bench, like in the back. And
Oh,
and I
that
was
used to
just
be in the days when I could catnap like that. Like,
and
I
was
can't
just
do
like,
that anymore.
"Man,"
But it used
like,
to be
he's
like,
asleep, and
oh,
I was just like,
you know, 20 minutes
"Hey,
off.
I'm
Like, okay.
Tony."
How did you lose your ability to catnap?
I don't know. I just got older, and then all of a sudden, it's like just hard to get to sleep. But
I can't do it anymore, and I used to do it, and I thought it was because at one point I had children, and they never let you sleep. So when I did get a second, I could do it. And now I feel like I work just as much as I did when the kids were little. But if I have a pocket to get some energy, I'll just sit there and go, "Why? Why won't you just turn off?" It won't turn off. But I have a question because I did radio for a long time. And when I started, there was a lot of people that did song parodies. That was like a radio thing.
Right.
So I started doing stuff where I just made my own music from like not a rip-off of anything because I didn't want to be like the rest of the radio guys. But when I watched your movie, and I didn't really think about it, but where did you get the idea to do it? Or are you the guy that did it? I'm sorry if that's an offensive question.
Well, I didn't invent the concept of song parodies.
That was happening.
I mean, it's been happening since the beginning of recorded history.
Was there somebody that influenced you to start doing it?
I mean, like Alan Sherman,
Okay.
And Stan Freberg and Tom Lehrer and Spike Jones. Those are the people that I was probably most influenced by.
Yeah, I assumed that.
Yeah. But people that I heard on the Dr. Demento show. But yeah,
on the what show?
Dr. Demento is a disc jockey. He's not on terrestrial radio anymore. He still does a show for the internet, but in the 70s, he had a nationally syndicated show where he played comedy music and just a very eclectic playlist of just odd things in his personal collection.
Yeah.
And that's where I was exposed to all these random, bizarre people. And I started sending him tapes in the mail that I recorded in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And for some crazy reason, he started playing those horrible tapes on the air and gave me my start.
What was the first thing you sent him?
Well, the very first thing that I sent him that he actually played was called Belvedere Cruising. And it was it's not a parody, it's an original song about the family car. It was a big black 1964 Plymouth Belvedere with red upholstery and push button transmission. It was just a love song about the car. And it was terrible. It was a horrible song, but Dr. Demento just thought it was novel that this teenage kid playing the accordion thought he was funny. So he just gave me a shot, and it encouraged me enough to send in more. And after a while, it started getting better, I guess. And then, a couple of years out of college, I actually got a record deal.
When it got better, that transition where all of a sudden you were like, wait a minute, I'm actually really good, like at parodies.
That happened about a week ago, by the way.
Also, but there is something to be said that you were a musician. I mean, you did, you're playing a difficult instrument as well, and writing songs and doing parodies. But at some point, did you think like, I can't play? Or was it always more like, I want to make funny stuff?
Well, if you play the accordion and you're really serious about it, you get to play bar mitzvahs and Italian weddings. And if that's your thing, it's great. But I kind of wanted to go my own direction. And I was more of a rocker, And when I was 12 years old, nobody wanted to be in my band. I couldn't bring people together. So yeah, I kind of, and it wasn't like I did comedy because I couldn't do real music. It was like I really enjoyed that genre, and I loved doing the kind of Dr. Demento stuff. And after a while, I got a few good breaks.
Do you hear songs every now and then, and immediately as it plays, you go, "Oh, I got the words for this. I'm doing it." Like, is that how it happens?
It has happened. I mean, I don't freestyle. I can't start coming up with stuff off the top of my head that's good. And most of the ideas that I've had over the years, I agonize over, and I think of every variation on a theme, and I'm very analytical about it. But there have been one or two occasions where I hear a song on the radio or on MTV, and I go, "Oh, fat. It's got to be that,"
Yeah.
But is there ever a sense of urgency where it's like, I got to get this out because the song is so big right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because timing is very important because you want to strike while the iron is hot, as the cliche goes. Mm-hmm. And I remember when Gangsta's Paradise was #1 for a couple of weeks, and I came up with Amish Paradise. And it was the weirdest sensation because instead of being excited, I had this great idea. It filled me with almost a sense of dread because, like, oh no, and now I got to do all this work because it's going to be a big hit song, and I got to get the album out, and I'm going to be on the promotional trail. I thought of the next 6 months of my life.
Dread.
You know, like,
oh no, I got a good idea. This is going to be work
because you know what it involves.
Oh, that's damn success.
Have you ever had a celebrity when you do their song reach out to you in a hopefully positive way, or has there been people that were legitimately offended?
No, I mean, you know, I get permission whenever I do a parody, so it's never like they come back and say, "What did you do to my song?" It's like, you know, it's almost always very, you know, very pleasant. Like Chameleon, I did "White and Nerdy," which was a parody of a song "Riding," and he was great about it. In fact, one year we were both at the Grammys, and he had just won the Grammy for Rap Song of the Year, and he came up to me on the red carpet and said, "Hey man, I want to thank you for doing your parody because White and Nerdy made it undeniable that my song was the Rap Song of the Year."
Oh my God, that's amazing.
What about Michael Jackson?
He was great. I mean, you know, and that came at a really important time in my career because that was my second album, and my first album did okay enough for them to say, "Well, we'll give you another shot." But "Eat It" was, you know, Michael Jackson in 1984 was the biggest star in the universe, and we wanted to get his blessing. We thought, oh, he's never going to get back to us. Like he doesn't have time for this. But and
the concept too.
But that's such a badge of honor, and I would think that Michael Jackson knew that.
Well, at that point, certainly not. I mean, I was more like.
But you said you weren't sure if he got back to you, but he got back to you.
But yeah, he did. Yeah, he thought it was a funny idea, and he let us do it. And there's a contract somewhere with my signature next to Michael Jackson's signature, saying we are the co-writers of "Eat It."
Awesome.
You know. And then when I did "Fat" a few years later, the big on the Subway set, that Subway set was Michael Jackson's Subway set.
Oh wow!
He was kind enough to let us use his
set.
No
way.
So he was really sweet and supportive.
When we did "Smells Like Nirvana," you played the song because no one had heard it yet, or at that time.
Yeah.
And you played the song for the crew, and then immediately said, "We did get permission." And Kurt does like this, so you guys know.
Because a lot of the people that were extras were actually in the original Nirvana video, and were Nirvana fans, and we wanted to make sure that they knew that we weren't like, you know, it wasn't derogatory. We weren't like, you know, putting Nirvana down.
I also remember, and I can say this because I worked with him, but I remember you guys saying, "Look, we got a lot of the same crew here, but not the same director." And there was this collective like, "Oh, thank you," because the director was notoriously harsh.
Samuel Bayer.
And I actually worked with him, and luckily I was on his good side, but I saw if you were on his bad side,
it was bad.
Yeah, it was not a good time.
Sam Bayer loved the parody video, by the way.
I'm sure.
I got to show it to him, and he his favorite thing was the little person shots, like the low angle.
Oh yeah.
Shots with the little person. He thought that was really
and
funny.
the janitor. Yeah, was the same, right?
The same, which was Sam Bayer's plumber.
Oh,
that was Samuel Bayer's plumber. So he got all, between Sam Bayer and me, he got a lot of screen time.
It's funny that I regret leaving early, but I think that at the time I had a young child, and I had to drive back to Fallbrook, which I knew you have a connection to.
Yeah,
actually, I'll tell you this: there was an Italian place in Fallbrook, like an Italian restaurant. There aren't. Fallbrook's pretty small, right?
Yeah,
I was living there because I had land and I could build ramps. And it was that same same year. And I remember at some point when I went to the Italian place, because it was like one of the only places we would go out to.
What was the name of the restaurant? I'm sure I know.
I forgot what it was. But
there's like
it was
Italian
next door
place.
to Baskin Robbins.
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I went in there and they said, finally, at some point someone said, "Oh, that guy's a pro skateboarder." And he said, "Hey, if you bring in a photo, we'll put it next to Weird Al."
What an honor.
Did it happen?
I think it did, yes.
Sick.
So the only two photos, like celebrity photos on their walls.
That's a legit wall of fame.
Oh man, yeah. Fallbrook, the avocado capital of the world. It used to be for a while.
I wish I could remember.
Didn't think I was going to learn anything today.
And my parents lived there for like 27 years.
Yeah. I knew that. And that was why that was my first line to you when I woke you up behind the scenes on the shoot. I said, "Hey Al, I'm Tony. I live in Fallbrook." And you're like, "Cool." You were super nice about it, but I was like, I was a full. It was such a, you
nerded out.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Hey Al, Fallbrook.
You just said you notified him of where you live. That's good. Yeah.
And then later on, when we met at the American Music Awards, now I have the timeline correct.
Yeah.
I came up to the table and I was like, "Yo, I was in the Smells Like Nirvana video," and you're like,
You
cool.
did it again.
Yeah, I did it again.
He's like, oh yeah, that's that really weird guy that skates.
And then I think years later, I put it out on Twitter that I was in the video, and you replied like, "What? How did I not know that?" I'm like, God, no one cares.
Because you're acting like a douche. That's why.
Because I was gonna have you thrown off set. That's why.
Get some creepy skateboarder dude keeps following me where I'm going, watching me sleep. Does it get any creepier? Like I wake up and I got some dude staring at me. I'm like, how long have you been here, creep off?
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
I'm a fan of meal kits. Banish the end of summer blues with HelloFresh. Go to hellofresh.com/50HVW. That's 50HVW, and use code 50HVW for 50% off plus free shipping.
You know what I love, Tony?
I have some ideas.
No, but about food.
Oh, HelloFresh?
Yeah, variety.
Oh, yeah, variety.
Yeah, and over 40 chef-crafted recipes to select from every week. HelloFresh always has new and exciting recipes to try and love.
And it's 25% cheaper than takeout and less expensive than grocery shopping, too. Just choose your recipes and receive fresh, pre-portioned ingredients so you can get cooking quick.
That's HelloFresh.com/50HVW. Use code 50HVW. Get 50% off plus free shipping. Hey, everybody. I got an event, Carnival of Combat. It's like Alice Mania, but I've got like dumb comedian celebrities fighting each other. But I also have the usual stuff where it's like blindfolded people with electric dog collars on, and then I give the remote to like their wife, and then they get electrocuted while everybody punches them in the head. It's really funny. It's November 4th, and it's in Tampa. And you can get tickets right now if you go to carnivalofcombat.com. And there's like all kinds of different seating, VIP. Luis J. Gomez is trying to fight this dude. And if he beats that dude, then he's trying to fight me, which means I have to come out of retirement. And all these people are going to be mad at me. But don't worry about it. I'm going to knock that dude out. He's not going to touch my face. But I think he's going to lose. And the only way you can see it is if you go to carnivalofcombat.com right now and get tickets. You're excited, right?
Yes, I'm very excited. What do you want me to say about it?
That was not that.
I'm very excited. I like your confidence,
See?
but I am concerned.
See me potentially die.
I thought your tagline was "Don't die."
It is.
You just said "See me potentially die." Jason, don't die.
Okay, don't watch me. Don't die.
There you go. That's the best promo
Combat.
ever. Watch
Yeah.
him not die.
Yeah. Come out.
Live
Please.
in Tampa.
Thank you.
Do you remember? This is another random connection. I think it was
waking up and seeing your face.
No. Yeah. Hal. We're a long way from Fallbrook. No, what was the Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah.
They played in LA.
Yes.
Came in the theater.
Yeah.
And was it
Aziz
Ansari?
opening? Yeah.
Yeah. Aziz Ansari name checked him in a joke. And the whole place went nuts because the crowd knew he was there.
Oh wow!
And
because I was in the balcony.
You were in the balcony, yeah.
Very
So
visible
like,
for some reason.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "What?" Like, "There's Weird Al." And then Aziz had this joke that he said a bunch, I guess, and threw him in there, and the whole crowd went nuts. And he's like, "That joke's not that funny. Is Weird Al here or something?" And everyone points up.
Yeah, I stand up. Hey, how you doing? Hey, thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
That was pretty funny.
So awesome.
And then I stood up and was like, "I was in Smells Nirvana."
Yeah. Follow him back to his house after it. Watch him sleep again. Freaking maniac. I had no idea who I was doing a show with this whole time. A guy that's famous himself, that understands that it's a little uncomfortable when people stare at you. Stares down the guy while he's sleeping.
I'm a fan.
There you are.
I'm a fan. And I also got your book that you sent. Thank you. I didn't buy it, by the way. You sent it. So I'm not that creepy.
Yeah, you are. It's over, dude. You're not getting out of it. It's done. It's recorded.
I love how even the book is over the top, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be.
It's got to be, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's so great. Actually, it's funny. My nephew, he's in his 30s now. Maybe he's in his 40s. And your tour was the first concert I ever went to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I've heard
which
that a
tour
lot,
was it?
actually.
What
I
year would
don't
that
remember.
have
So, oh, wait. Is it Dare to Be?
Dare to Be Stupid?
Dare to Be Stupid.
That was in like 85. Was it that long
That's
ago?
probably him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
I got a stupid question.
Okay.
Can you play all instruments? And
Badly.
Do you, when you record albums, do you play?
No.
Do you do like Stevie Wonder thing?
No,
where
not
you
at all.
play
I mean,
everything?
there are people like Ben Folds that can play every instrument and do it well. No, I the only instrument I can play well is the accordion.
You don't shred any other thing you have.
What about piano?
Well, piano, yes, but I mean, I'm more comfortable with the accordion. My left hand is used to doing this on buttons.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, theoretically, I know how to play piano, but it's more difficult because my left hand is not used to playing actual keys.
Are there any songs that you perform live that are extra challenging because of that?
Because
it's accordion, I don't really know the.
No, I mean the accordion is a hard instrument to learn. I mean, I had to help Daniel Radcliffe learn how to play the accordion at one point,
wow.
and that it's hard because you're playing basically a piano with one hand and playing random buttons with the other hand, and you're moving bellows back and forth.
I've tried it,
and you're singing sometimes.
I can play instruments, and I've had a friend he's in a big, Matt Hensley plays one, and he's in a band.
Oh, yeah.
What's his band called?
Flogging Molly.
Yeah, Flogging Molly. But I was like, let me get a hold of that thing. You know what I mean? I can play guitar and stuff. Nope. It was one of those things where I was like, I can't make one tune. I can make sounds, but I can't make one thing repeat itself over and over again where you're like, are you trying to play a song? No, I could not get that
Did you ever
across.
want to moonlight in an Irish punk band?
All the time.
Yeah.
So the accordion is a good thing to learn when you're young because the synapses in your brain, you'll learn stuff a lot quicker when you're young.
Yeah.
So if you try to learn the accordion in your middle-aged years, it's much more difficult.
Have you ever done metal? Like, what's the most metal accordion riff you've ever riffed?
Gosh, well, I do polka medleys, so I'll like throw Metallica into the medley.
I've heard
It
that.
doesn't
That's
sound
right.
very metal
Right.
on the accordion, but
Could you put like a pedal on your accordion?
put the pedals to the
distort
metal.
it?
You can go through outboard effects, yeah.
Right, because that would be vicious.
On the last tour, I had a MIDI accordion, so I can make the accordion sound like virtually any instrument.
A what? A mini one?
MIDI.
MIDI, MIDI.
What's the difference?
Well, it's because the keys trigger whatever sounds you want. So it could sound like a string section or horns or anything.
So you have metal guitar on there.
You could do that, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be shredding.
But I love how, and I was going back to my nephew because you introduced him to so many styles of music through your album of parodies. And I did appreciate that because it was like he eventually knew of the Pixies and knew of way much different genres of music that he wouldn't have been exposed to because of you.
That's really great to hear. A lot of people said that my albums are sort of like a gateway drug, like all sorts of other music, which is nice to hear.
I mean, how cool is that though? That's a legacy in itself. But yeah, I just thought that was always really cool, and that you would pay tribute or homage to all these different bands and
because not all the songs I do are parodies. Like it's like half parodies and half like the Pixies thing.
Or sound alike.
Yeah, it's like a pastiche or a sound alike or style parody or whatever. So it's a lot of songs are done in the style of other artists. And people might say, "Oh, I like that song," and their friends would say, "Well, that's meant to sound like this band." They go, "Oh, I should check out that band's body of work."
I love how that might be the gateway to Metallica. He's playing Metallica. Right?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Enter Sandman polka. I got to hear more of this.
It's catchy, man, no matter how you play it. It's got the riff.
Did you see that Felipe is in the new Metallica?
Yes,
He is the new Metallica video.
That is crazy.
Yeah, Metallica just released a new video for a song. I digress. But one of our team writers who actually has no legs, he's amazing. And he is the star of the video.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because it shows
It's like
him.
Metallica's song, and it's them live on stage, and it just keeps breaking to this kid shredding the streets. And it's like, man, this is almost like just an ad for him.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
thanks,
cool.
Metallica. You know?
Wow.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just.
You had to get approval off Metallica, right?
Yeah, for them or their publishers. Like it's for like the polka medley. I'm not changing any words, so it's mostly to get a special rate from the publishers because we can't. This gets very inside baseball, but for the polka medleys, it's like a dozen different songs, and I can't pay the full rate for every one of those songs, so they have to agree to a smaller percentage.
Has there ever been something that was just too difficult? to agree to?
Yeah,
Or-
I mean, sometimes the publishers will say, "No, we're not going to do that," and then you move on. And it's it's not a reflection on the artist; it's the publishers. They look at the
yeah,
bottom
it may
line.
not have even gotten across the artist's desk.
Yeah, well, it may or may not. I mean,
May or may not,
if the
yeah.
publisher says no, and I know the artist, sometimes I can go over their heads and talk to the
right.
artist. But if I don't know the artist, then it's like, all right.
Has an artist ever said no to a parody?
Yeah, but it's pretty rare. I mean, in the very, very beginning, it was a lot more common because nobody knew who this Weird Al guy was, and nobody wanted to trust me with their music. But after Michael Jackson gave his blessing, and I had a few albums under my belt, it slowly became sort of like this badge of honor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Prince is sort of the only guy that's famously turned me down every time I approached him.
Right.
But multiple times.
Yeah, I mean,
with different songs.
Yeah, like every
That
couple
one
of years.
makes sense.
Did you have the song already recorded or
No. I learned early on not to do that because if they say no, then that's
It's a
lot
real
of
bummer,
wasted
yeah.
effort. Yeah.
Okay.
So generally, when I would go about getting permission, I would have a concept. I'd say, it's a parody of this song. Here's the title. Here's the basic joke.
Okay.
And if they're into it, then I'll go through the trouble. And if they're not, then I don't.
Was there a Prince parody that you thought this is going to be?
There were half a dozen. I mean, Prince. I was.
Were you going to wear assless chaps?
I'm sorry?
Were you going to wear assless chaps in the video?
Who knows? I may have.
we
Would
didn't get that far.
Would have been a game changer.
But yeah, the original centerpiece of my movie UHF was going to be a parody of "Let's Go Crazy" from like Purple Rain, and it was going to be this whole piece, and he wasn't into it, so it wound up being Dire Straits. But like literally. About half a dozen times we approached him with various ideas, and he's got a sense of humor apparently, but he just was kind of precious about his music and didn't like anybody messing with him.
Did you see UHF?
What?
UHF, his movie back in the day. So good.
For sure I did.
You had to see it.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, yeah.
Changed their life.
No, I wouldn't say that. But
Was that?
You've always
sorry,
just
I forgot
been
his name. Was that Kramer's first movie?
Yeah, Michael Richards. Yeah.
Michael Richards. Yeah.
Not his first movie, but early,
definitely
pre
one that
Seinfeld.
stood out.
Before
Yeah.
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Are you like a bit of a director? Like,
Well, I directed a number of music videos in the 90s. I directed most of my own music videos, and I directed some videos for like Ben Folds and Black Crowes and Hanson, a couple others, I think. But it's a lot of work.
do you enjoy that part, or is that more like you got to do it because of the song you made?
It's a little of both. I mean, it is kind of fun, but I get stressed out, and directing
There's a lot
is
of
very
pressure to make it work.
It's a very
right?
stressful.
And it's all you. You feel the director. You
hear
wrote it all.
The
It's all
clock
you.
is ticking. I
Right.
visualize like money literally flying out the window. You know?
I notice that with big things. People always you get information where you realize that just costs this much money.
Yeah.
And anytime I've been around somebody that says that, I feel the pressure, and I'm not even them. Like when they go, man, just so you know, when that didn't sell, that cost like this, and I go, oh, how do you sleep at night?
Or when you're on a shoot and they're like, if this goes into the night,
Yeah. No.
like it's overtime,
Yeah,
it's
right.
double. We have to get lights.
Well, that's why like most music video shoots were like, it's a one-day shoot, but it's a 22-hour day.
Yeah,
You know, it
yeah,
just keeps- And I just remember even like my first album, I was working in the mailroom while I was doing my first album, like minimum wage, literally. And I just remember, how expensive it was for studio time. And I figured if I go to the bathroom right now, it's going to cost me $15. And I can't. Let's keep going.
Wow.
Let the tape roll.
Did you change a little bit when you got rich? Like, did you get a weird attitude, or did you buy anything shiny that you go, wow?
Would
that was
anyone
kinda
admit to that?
Well, he could just say no.
I did change. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it totally changed.
I got really.
Oh,
mean,
I mean, you get
totally different person.
let me finish. I know it's a stupid question. When you like maybe you got that way, and then you get older and you go, okay, let's calm down. Like that was a bit of a smoke show, and I got caught up in it. You don't seem like you did.
I mean,
did
I
you?
don't think I bought anything like too extravagant. I mean, when I had enough money, I bought a house.
Yeah.
But
you didn't have anything weird on it, like a helicopter pad or something.
Well, no, there's a helicopter pad, but
Makes sense.
I use that all the time, so
Right.
I can write it off.
Right.
No, it's
You don't have like a waterfall into your pool.
Yeah, no, it's.
Oh wait, I went to your house. You had the Halloween party, right?
What?
No, you were at a Halloween party.
Oh,
He's like,
I thought it was your house.
I've trick-or-treated before.
There was a big Halloween party like maybe 10 years ago.
Not at my house, I don't think.
I thought it was your house.
Gosh, I don't know.
Wow.
Where did I?
Where the hell?
There was a Halloween party, and we saw each other there.
Okay, was it
like 10 years ago
at the mansion at Hef's place, perhaps?
No.
It
was
okay.
It was a nice house, but it wasn't.
I can't imagine where they would be.
That's so weird. You were the only person I knew there, actually.
You went, Fallbrook!
Enough. I contained myself. I
yelled it from the other side of the room.
I knew how to handle myself. No, my wife and I went as Lula and Sailor from Wild at Heart.
Oh, nice.
And no one got it. No one.
It was a deep cut.
It's a deep cut, but you know.
They're probably just cool about it.
But you don't remember being there?
I don't remember anything past this morning.
Right. Have you hit your head a lot?
I was probably dropping my head a lot in my 20s.
Right. So there you go.
Did you ever do any sports?
Not really. A little bit of ping pong. But not a lot. No. A little,
edgy.
Yeah. A little,
just
little
leveled the
tennis,
field.
but no contact sports.
Yeah.
Because PE was basically beat up the nerd time. So I didn't enjoy it.
It was also
too much.
beat up the skater time.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. So I feel you on that.
Yeah.
One time I got beat up in the cricket nets for a whole lunch break.
Wow.
Thank you. That was the first thing that I ever did.
Until the bell rang?
Yeah. That was the first time I ever experienced fame. Because people were like, did you get beat up in the cricket nets for the whole lunch break? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys heard about that? Oh, that's cool. I didn't want to do it again, but
It was a one-hit wonder.
but I got a taste, you know? Here I am.
So what has been the most fun part of this crazy career? You really, you forged your own path. Like, it's pretty incredible.
Out of my whole career, I think the most fun is probably this interview.
Yeah.
This is what it's all been building up
That's
to.
what everyone says. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, playing live is probably my favorite thing. So I enjoy. I've had the same band for over 40 years. We love each other. We're a family on the road, and that's a great thing. And they're probably. I mean, I enjoy everything.
Is your touring band the same that's on the album?
Yes.
Yeah.
The same guys. I mean, the same guys that, the guy that was banging in my accordion case for Another One Rides the Bus in 1980, that's the guy that's still behind me on the road.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys party after you play?
Well, here's the thing. We're not like, we're like the most boring band in rock and roll. Like, instead of like wild debauchery on the tour bus, like we're all there on our laptops, like, checking our social media feeds and things like that.
Nobody's cutting loose after the concert.
We're tired. We're
Same,
old.
Same band for 40 years.
If somebody
not.
new and exciting is cutting loose in the vicinity, do they get regulated for doing such a thing?
Well, they can do what they want, but nobody seems to want to be doing that.
Right.
I mean, the crew's kind of old too, so nobody's really like.
Everyone's been there.
That would be amazing if the Weird Al tour was just known for reckless debauchery.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. It was like,
man,
actually,
Al's coming to town. He can't even play that venue because he's
threw the
kicked
TV into the swimming pool too many times.
Yeah, that's it. It's over.
Oh, well.
Done.
it would
burn too many bridges.
And it would finally align with the movie. So maybe there's truth in that. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. What are your plans going forward besides the sequel we heard about? No, I'm just kidding.
Hard to say. Two of my guilds are on strike, so I can't do anything right now if I wanted to. So hopefully that'll get resolved. And then, I don't know. There's various TV and film projects which are in various stages of development, and hard to know if anything's going to happen with those. And I'll be touring again at some point in the future, but probably not for a little while. Mm-hmm. And when I come back, it'll be something different than I've done before, and bigger and better. And
do you have songs ruminating right now?
Yeah, I kind of already have the set list for my next tour.
Yeah.
Already figured out.
Do you have Taylor Swift?
I can't say anything about it.
Okay, I was going to say, because you got to go there.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I should re-record all of my albums like Taylor Swift. Do Al's version for everything.
Al version? That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yes.
Yeah, I'd listen. Can't wait for the music video. That's what I really want to say.
Because you had such a battle with your management, right?
Yeah. I want to own my masters.
Yeah. Has all of that changed for you though? Just with how the industry has changed and people do their own.
Yeah,
releases.
I finally, after 32 years, I finally fulfilled my record contract. So I've been no, it's true. I've been a free agent since 2014 when my last album came out, and I haven't taken full advantage of it. I haven't been putting out.
I was going to say, did that benefit you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I wasn't. I haven't released. I've released a few singles and random tracks here and there. I don't think I'm going to be doing any more traditional albums, just because, you know, I've always at my heart been more of a singles artist. Like, I have a great idea, let's put it out now. It's topical, let's do it.
Yeah.
And with an album, it's sort of like, I've got a great idea. Now I need 11 more songs to put around it so I can put out the album.
When was the last album?
2014.
Yeah.
Which was mandatory fun, and to my amazement, it debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
Which had literally never happened before as for a comedy album. So that was a real thrill for me, and it's kind of hard to top that.
That's great. I think that's when you came on my show, my SiriusXM show.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and it's awesome. Like that's the kind of album that, like I said, will introduce someone to a bunch of new genres of music, but they still love those songs on it.
Yeah.
Which has been great.
I think it's crazy how no matter how many eras you go through, you're still cool.
I know.
It's like, and I would have said
great
at the start, this guy's definitely not going to be cool in the next generation. But instead, you've just been I feel like you could ask Jay-Z and he'd be like, yeah, of course, yeah, whoa, I mean, of course.
I feel like there are certainly points in my life where people didn't think I was that cool. Or maybe it's just like ages you go through. Like when you're like a kid through age 16, Weird Al's cool. Then for the next 8 years, like, oh, no, not Weird Al. And then later on, it's like, oh, no, he was actually pretty cool. It's like it goes through the waves. You know?
I suppose. But I think it's more your consistency, too.
That's what
that keeps
I
you.
feel like it's more
it keeps you fresh, too, because it's like, oh, there's a new Weird Al song from that song you've been hearing all over the place, and people are drawn to it immediately because they know it's going to be clever. I think that's the issue too. Is like you could do it. Plenty of people do bad parodies, and you listen once, you're like, nah.
I feel like the movie is also a big tell because this is new. It's a new movie, and it's funny, smart, and as quick as any like movie that's out right now. It's. I'm like, who did this? It wouldn't matter if you're in it. It was a legit awesome movie that's very entertaining. And it's like, it's the guy that's been doing parodies and he's got a movie now that's like better than, like, name another musician that would make a movie right now that would be good.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work. Like, it's quite an amazing feat, which also shows you're just hardcore. Like, you don't look like a tough guy, but you are Diesel to me.
Am I?
Yeah, because you just don't stop. And
don't
you
stop.
come with all the energy.
There's something to be said for that, though.
Yeah,
you want to keep hustling, and you've had success, and you could probably cruise on that for a while. But you're like, no, I want to keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, I've slowed down certainly over the years, but I still, want to put myself out there, and I don't do it to like stay relevant or whatever. But I just enjoy doing it. It's I want to do stuff that's fun and hopefully amuses other people as well.
It does, absolutely. I was going to say, the last time we saw each other was not such a joyous event. It was Paul Reubens' service, but you were hanging out with Patton. Patton's been on the show.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he vetted the show for you. That's why you came on.
Well, I know you. That's why I'm on the show.
Yes. But I mean, Paul was actually going to come on the show.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, that's the thing. I mean, we obviously both knew Paul, but it's like you just never realized. Like he kept his whole illness a secret, and you just never know how long you have with people.
Did he send you one of those videos?
Yeah. Which was, I mean, so touching and so sweet,
amazing.
And I guess that was his way of saying goodbye. Yeah. But I mean, when somebody passed away, you always go, "Oh, I should have spent more time with them. I should have take him up on dinner or whatever." And you just always feel that way. But the loss of Paul really hurt.
Yeah,
I mean, he was like one of those guys that was never supposed to die.
Right?
Such a power and a presence and a sweet man.
Yeah, I mean that's just the sweetest. And but when he was set to come on our show, and I think it was the week before, he just said, "Oh, I got to go to the hospital, and I'm not feeling so good." And I mean, it was clearly he'd known this for a long time, but
and he said we can set up mics by the bed in the hospital. And
what's that?
You said we could.
Yeah. Well, I kept reaching out to him, and just more checking. He's like, "Hey, how are you doing? Are you any better?" He's like, "Not really." And it was just kind of it was pretty obvious that whatever this was was something that was lingering far too long to just be temporary. But what I was going to say is I texted, we did a show where we lost the video to it, just us. And these guys animated it.
It was my fault.
It was funny. But the animated version was really great. And so I texted him. I said, "Hey," because he had an aversion to coming on camera. And when we did have him agree to coming on, there was no video.
Right.
I didn't realize he was sick, but I think that's what he was. He was trying to protect that. And so I texted him, "Hey, we did this animated thing, and I think that'd be really cool. Like you could be animated as your character."
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, and that was like 2 weeks before he passed away.
Ah, so sad.
Yeah, that was rough. But it was good to see you there.
Yeah. He had a lot of stuff in the pipeline too. I guess he had 2 screenplays for Peewee movies, unproduced, obviously.
Oh wow!
And he was writing. I had dinner with him. We went to Mark Ryden's Barbie celebration a few months ago before he passed, and he's working on a memoir, which I don't know if they wanted to make that into a movie as well, but definitely he's working on a book. I think he finished the first draft, so that might be coming out sometime.
I hope so.
But yeah, he was really kind of excited about that. So I'm sure that's going to be an interesting read.
So I was such a fan. What on a happier note, what's been the most fun collaboration you've gotten to do? Or the most meaningful?
Meaningful, gosh. Collaboration,
or the worst. Either way.
That's hard to say off the top. I would say the movie, but I can't really talk about the movie because of the strike. So let's, like when I was directing, that was kind of fun because I got to work with like the artists like that I mentioned, like Black Crowes and Ben Folds and Hanson, those people.
But so I was going to ask you about that. You were doing directing those. How did you get chosen, or were you was there a comedy in those?
Well, my videos were kind of funny because that's what you should expect when you hire Weird Al as a director.
That's what I figure, but I didn't know if you were trying to branch out and just like, no, I am a serious director. And this is what's going on.
The craft behind it, I like to think was serious, but I mean, there's obviously a lot of humor injected into those videos, and that's what they came to expect when they decided to hire me. But I think even Ben Folds, who I think I might have been friends with him at the time, I still had to like do the pitch and the treatment and all that because there were a bunch of people vying for the job.
What was the song?
For Ben Folds, it was "Rockin' the Suburbs."
Oh yeah,
which the album came out September 11th, 2001.
Oh wow!
So it was not great timing for that.
I remember that album though. I mean, it made waves for sure.
Yeah.
When you make songs now, is there a different way to make it funny because of the way people take in comedy now? Like, do we laugh at different things than we used to 20 years ago?
I don't know how to answer that.
Do you think you could do Fat today?
Well, that's an interesting question because I never looked at Fat as a making fun of fat people because it was like I'm fat and it's I'm fat and I'm proud and the message obviously is full of fat jokes, but the message I think is more about body positivity, like being proud of who you are and taking ownership of that. Of course, whenever I hear like somebody in a playground getting made fun of with that song, I die a little inside because that was never my intention.
Right.
So I don't know if I'll play that live in concert again. I know it's a big fan favorite, but it's like.
But I guess the main. I'm not. This wasn't like a gotcha moment. It was more.
No. But
it was more like, do you have to be a little more careful now with your parodies and what you're. Not that you were ever super controversial, but I'm just wondering about that.
That's a hard question to answer because I always have a little bit of a internal editor, like what's funny and what's going to fly, and I can be a little edgy, but I mean there are certain lines I try not to cross.
Right.
And I think that's always been in place, and I don't know that the times have shifted enough where I'm changing the way I'm trying to be funny. Now certainly language changes, and there are certain words that I used in the 80s and 90s which were fine at the time, or at least I thought so, and nowadays they'd be considered offensive.
Sure.
And in fact there's one on the last tour I played Albuquerque, which is my 11-minute long Shaggy Dog story, and a big fan favorite. But at one point in the original song, there's the word hermaphrodite, which that comes up in the lyrics of the song. And I would stop the band cold in the middle of the song and say, you know, these days this word is considered a slur. That's obviously not my intention. Back when I wrote this song, I'm going through this whole speech, you know, in the 90s. I thought it was more of a technical medical term, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I apologize for the use of the word.
Yeah, I always thought of it as just a medical term.
Yeah, well, but
isn't it?
But it's considered offensive these days, which, you know, again, was never my intention. But I kind of have to apologize for things I did back in the day.
But I like that you stick with it and you play it. You just
Well,
go
you know,
through
it's history. I can't deny that. Like, I did that. It's part of like my catalog.
Right.
But,
And you're not coming from a bad place. And if you somehow think that, then you're not on the planet with us. Like, you're a fun guy bringing fun and joy to the world. There's no, well, actually, I have a personal problem with bigger people, and I'm just trying to get that in there without you really detect. Like, come on. You're trying to be fun. It's fun. Hey, guys, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about these amazing tees I'm wearing from True Classic. They also have shorts. It's my go-to destination for tees, shorts, jeans, and other closet essentials. I love how their shirts fit and feel, offering you guys premium products without premium price tag. For a limited time, they're giving our listeners 25% off their first purchase at trueclassic.com with the offer code WOLF25. You get it? 25 off, and I'm a wolf. Okay, let's talk about these t-shirts for a second. You haven't lived until you've worn one of these tees. They fit perfectly. They're soft and cut to highlight your arms and chest so you look jacked. Plus, they come in packs because, well, we all hate laundry. That's true. And the shorts, these come in a bunch of styles, cuts, and colors, whether you need something for the gym, weekends, or a night out. I'm currently loving the commuter short with its sharp, tailored fit, and they got a ton of stretch. Their comfort jeans are my new go-to. They got that classic look, tapered just right with a bit of stretch in all the right places. And they come in a range of colors to fit any mood or occasion. Do yourself a favor and get these jeans now, you bastards. And you can't go wrong with True Classic. Their clothing from t-shirts, shorts to button-ups is designed to be versatile and work with your lifestyle so you can look and feel better all damn day. True Classic is so committed to their product, they're even 100% risk-free guaranteed and easy returns. That's very confident. These guys have got a lot of gusto. So, if you're ready to make the easiest summer upgrade, shop now at trueclassic.com and save 25% off with the code WOLF25. Look at these t-shirts. Come on.
What is the big crowd favorite when you play live?
Yeah, there's not. Thankfully, there's not one big crowd favorite. There's a lot of songs that people get into, like the Star Wars songs we usually do in our big shows. That's the big encore with Yoda and the saga begins. And a lot of times, members of the 501st Legion, the people that come dressed in Star Wars outfits, all the local ones will just come to the show and fill the stage at the end of the show, which is amazing. Amish Paradise is big. Word Crimes, Dare to Be Stupid is big. I'm thankful that there's a lot of fan favorites on the show.
Yeah. What's your encore? Or it has been?
Well, usually it's the Star Wars songs. When we did the Vanity tour, we did a couple of those, and that was my last big tour. And for the encore, we would do two things. We would do a random cover song every night. On the first tour.
Really?
We did like 77 different songs. It's on YouTube somewhere. Look for like 77 Weird Al covers.
Awesome. But
the straight,
covered,
totally
straight cover.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything from, Psycho Killer to
No way.
You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman, like all these random songs.
Awesome.
I gotta hear that one.
And then the second thing we would do would be like an unplugged kind of like jazzy lounge medley of a bunch of my parody hits, because the rest of the show was just all the original songs, which the hardcore fans would be into, but the casual Weird Al fan would be disappointed because I wanted to hear Eat It. So
right. Oh, look at here it is. Smoke on the water.
Yeah, there it is.
So how long does it take to learn a song like that? Like,
Well, I tell the band in advance like what we're going to be doing, and we rehearsed it like once during sound check.
that night.
Yeah.
You tell them like tomorrow we're going to do this.
Tomorrow we're going to do this. And they go, okay, let's learn it. And then we do it during sound check.
Is there ever any pushback?
Yeah, after a while, they're a little bit. I mean, my banders are good sports, and they don't mind hard work, but they're like, this is a lot of work, man. It's like we're learning like all these songs.
Right.
So I'm going to try not to work them that hard the next
Do you have to have a lyric sheet?
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Yeah. I have some experience with
Yeah,
live
he does.
performances. It's like my own karaoke where there are bands that only cover songs from our video game series.
Oh, wow.
There are 3 bands actually that do that. And
Wow.
I've sang with all of them.
Oh, nice.
And I'm very familiar with the songs, but I can't remember it when I'm on stage. I can't, like, I applaud anyone that can, but I have to have lyric sheets.
It's tough. That's my number one fear, is just blanking out.
Yeah.
Because I've done that a number of times. Like songs I've literally done 1,000 times. Like all of a sudden my brain will just shut off.
Yep.
And it's horrifying.
And,
done that.
do you just make noise or do you just let the band keep it going?
I do this. Like,
Oh, yeah. Whoa, that is a good one.
When I did that Sam Jones thing, I locked up. I locked up on one verse,
You should've
and
done
they were
that.
still playing. We were playing Agent Orange, Bloodstains. I don't know that song, but and the band's playing, and they're going back into the second verse, and I'm like I lost it.
Yeah.
I don't know, and they're looking at me like, this is not easy. We're still doing this.
I did that once on national TV, and since then I've always made sure to have cue cards if I'm performing on live TV. But I did I think it was Regis and Kathy Lee, like way back in the
Ooh,
day,
yeah.
and they want me to do a "Achy Breaky" song, which is my Billy Ray Cyrus parody.
Yeah.
And it was me solo. Which I never do, because it's like I always play with a band.
Yeah.
But my manager's like, it's a lot of eyeballs. It's a big shot. You should do it. Like
Solo accordion though.
solo accordion, me
Yeah.
playing the accordion and
Right.
singing, and I'm there on the couch playing the first verse of the song, and I don't know what happened after the first chorus. Like my brain shuts off, and I keep playing the same 2 measure bar, two little musical thing over and over and over and over for like 30 seconds.
Did you
and
get it
finally,
back?
And finally Regis says, "Did you forget the words?" I forgot the words. Weird Al Yankovic, ladies and gentlemen. That was it.
Wow.
I love that. That's got to be out there on
Oh,
YouTube.
it was awful. Oh,
Is that on
man.
YouTube? We
So-
got to find that one.
Yeah, my manager didn't even talk to me after that. It was like silent car ride
Did you-
back to the
I
hotel.
love how Regis. I got to work with him a couple times. He was so great, but that's so him. Like, did you forget the words? Yep. All right, we're moving on.
Man, wrapping it up.
Oh,
That's
man.
crazy. I sang in a band for a while, and we actually did comedy music. We were on the Billboard charts too, but there were times there.
Different spectrum of comedy, but
Yeah. But it was still funny, not like you, but we were doing okay. But every now and then, because there were so many different songs and we were doing different genres of music, which some of them I was not particularly a fan of. So I didn't really know the song that much because I hated singing it.
Uh-huh.
And then there would be times where I'd go, I had a cheat sheet on the ground near me where I had the lyrics, but sometimes I wouldn't be near it. And I'd go, so most of the time, this probably happened to you, where I go, oh no, I don't know the lyrics. And then right when it's time, it just starts coming out. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
thank God that popped.
Like a part of your lizard brain or something kicks in. Like
all of a sudden,
it's muscle memory is what it is. Like your mouth was used to forming certain words.
Yeah.
And certain...
It was like one of the beats just triggered me to know the next verse. But if I didn't know it, it wasn't going to come.
It's terrifying though,
I would
right?
put the mic out to the crowd and be like, come on, sing it with me. That was
That's the hardest part of like live performing, because you're always
Here you are.
That's my moment of shame.
Okay,
My moment of shame.
Orange, you want more? Yeah, did you forget it or what? Yeah!
Did you forget it or what?
Kathy said we're having a musical interlude. I said either that or Ralph forgot the words, and he did. Exactly what happened. Forgot the words. Oh, I remember the words.
I like how he but he didn't dwell on it.
No.
He's good. He's professional. Like,
I'm glad you
forgot the
relived my
words.
greatest
Yeah, it's all
shame.
right. Yeah, it's cool. That did happen when I sang Superman with Goldfinger, which is probably the biggest pressure thing that I've done.
Yep.
And I practiced that song religiously because I never listened to that song. Well, also I listened to the song, but on our video game only had 2-minute versions of each song. So I know the first 2 minutes of that song easily. And then when it gets beyond 2 minutes, I'm a little lost. So I was listening to it. And then when I got on stage, at some point, I did the same thing where my mind, I was just like, I don't know what. And then things started coming out of my mouth. And I looked over and Feldy, who, right there, the singer, Feldy is singing the exact same words I am. And I'm like, oh, it worked. I did it. Yeah, like you said, there's just some muscle reaction. That...
Yeah, if you're lucky, maybe the people in the front row are singing the songs so you can kind of look down and lip read.
Yeah, they were definitely looking at me though. They were definitely because I was a special guest here, so they were definitely eyeing me like, is he gonna screw this up? And it would be sad because this song that we sang is sort of the one song that is most closely connected to our video game series.
Right.
So anyway, that's my story. But
one of the greatest skateboard singers of our time, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't have to play that. It's okay.
What do
you have to play me messing up the lyrics.
Yeah,
we have to play Al messing up the lyrics, but not me. No. It's our show. No. Well, Al, thank you for coming on here, sharing your story.
Pleasure, man.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
Crazy.
Still a fan. I love that we still get to do what we love doing.
I got to get a podcast now so you guys can come on.
Yeah.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, you sound like a guy that has tons of free time for a podcast. That's a great idea.
We'll come up. How about we'll do a podcast where we just pitch you parody song ideas.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And we'll get some deep cuts.
What about if we do parody songs and keep sending it to you over and over again until you finally like us?
Oh yeah. What if you come to my house in the middle of the night and just hover over me while I'm sleeping?
Oh, that's a good idea, Tony. You'd enjoy that, wouldn't you?
Who said I hadn't? What, you're saying that hasn't happened?
Could you possibly film yourself sleeping and then send it to him so that he can enjoy life?
I could do that.
So I can finally enjoy life.
Finally. That's what I'm going to get for your birthday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Tony. Here's Weird Al. Sleeping like a baby. Look at that.
Look at that. Don't you just want to wake him up?
Yeah. Don't you want to just hover over him and creep out on his head?
Talk about Fallbrook?
Excuse me, I live in Fallbrook.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Like and describe. We say like and describe, but what would you make as a parody of our tagline?
Well, what is the tagline?
Like and describe.
Like and describe.
Like and describe.
I mean, that's already a parody of like and subscribe.
Oh, man. See, I'm not good at like free associating like that. Like and just... See, it takes me a couple of weeks, so I'll have to email that back to you.
That was cool watching your brain try to work that out, though. That was fun.
You saw genius at work.
Yeah, right? I know.
Just the spark.
Just short circuiting.
But we saw it. Yeah, we saw it.
That's how he does it, huh?
All right. See you guys. Thank you. Bye.